Grace and peace, good people. This is Terrence Frederick, Chief Servant. Is that a question for you? I was wondering, have you ever asked the question why we don't see more mass deliverances, mass conversions, why it seems as if like salvation, people trickle in, like people are on a time release. Deliverance doesn't come massively, like globally all at one time, but it's 1,000 here, 100 here, a few here. But I believe that this is by design, by the Most High. I believe he does this on purpose. I believe one of the reasons why he puts us on a time release when it comes to deliverance is because you understand, one of the criticisms of the church is it's not relevant. It's not speaking to modern day issues. So a lot of the people who have been pursuing the Lord 20, 30 years, they don't know anything about 19 keys, or they don't know anything about chakras and auras, and they don't know a lot of those people and even if they dabbled in it as teenagers or when they were younger, they're so far removed, that's not even what's on their mind. They're pursuing worship, digging deep in the scriptures, learning more about, Hebrew, Greek, understanding the culture of, the faith of Abraham, and understanding the apostles and the gifts and the fruit of the Spirit, and, building up leaders and discipling people. They're not thinking about whatever the trends are in the world. But one of the reasons I believe that he has deliverance on time release, in other words, at a certain time, he is pre-planned for certain people to come out of the flames. I believe that it is for that very purpose, and so that the people who are fresh out the flames, that those people can drag their peers, drag their generation out. They're fresh out the flames, and they got the fire, and they have the knowledge. They were just in darkness. They are current on the trends. They know what's going on with culture. They know what's happening, and they're new. And I believe that's why there's a great passion, anointing, fire, and glory on people who newly come into the kingdom. That zeal is on a whole different level sometimes, and I believe that's for a purpose. It's by his design. Paul was like, I don't know anything but Christ crucified. All this other stuff I knew, I counted as dumb. It's not worthy to be compared. It's like, I'm not even considering those things. The only knowledge, I'm foolish to the world. The only thing I know is Christ. I think the deeper we get into the Lord, a lot of times, the further we are removed from culture. That's why we need fresh blood around us, keeping us informed, keeping us, on like, what's the trends, what's going on, what is the enemy using to trap these people, what is he using to keep these people in bondage. We don't know anything about sages and, seances and, calling on the ancestors and all that, unless we were into that real heavy. And then if God used us to be apologists, or if he uses us to be front line as far as giving people the information, informing people. But the people who are just coming into the Lord and want to pursue him and make sure their family is saved, make sure their household is saved, we don't know what's going on. So when we try to minister to people and talk to people, and people even come to the ministry, come to the services like, yo, you're not speaking to my issue. You're not speaking to the idolatries that, are in my line, or the ancestral strongholds that's going on, or the practices that I engage in, or even the people who speak my language in terms of carnality, or in terms of other alternative forms of worship and that kind of thing. You're not speaking to that. You're not digging into that. And so a lot of times people get attracted to the people. They're drawn to the people who are speaking on these works of darkness and exposing them and calling them out. But those who are more seasoned in the Lord don't even know what's going on. There's a few things I could say about that. One of the things is that we need to make sure that we keep the elders informed of what's happening. But there's only so much they're going to go into with that. Because the more that you're being transformed by the renewing of your mind, the more that you're being translated from glory to glory, you're going from darkness to light. Those things seem so small, You're seated with Christ in heavenly places. You see in glory. You see in heaven's plans unfolding. You're having dreams and visions of Christ conquering various dimensions and territories. It's like you have to condescend. You got to sit back. Okay, this is what the enemy's doing now. Oh, okay. This is what darkness is on. All right. It's not impressive. It sounds good because the enemy knows how to keep things enticing and exciting, and they switch words. It's the same devil, same schemes, but he switches things around and makes it popping, or he recruits artists and different people to make it cool in that generation. And so we get drawn into the influence of it. But, you know, the more that we get into Christ, the more that these things seem like minuscule. But the people who have an anointing, have a grace, and have a power to address those things, a lot of times are people fresh out the flames, fresh out the fire. And we need to give them a platform. And that's why people mistakenly give people who are fresh out the fire titles and positions before they're ready. Like, just give them a microphone, give them a bullhorn, just give them a platform. You ain't got to label them something. You ain't got to make them an apostle, a prophet. Hey, you don't even know what they are yet. They're still developing. They're still growing into who they are. They're still growing in love. But at least give them a mic and let them speak, because that's the most powerful speakers, are the ones who are in the clutches of darkness and freshly came out, and they're excited about being delivered. They're excited and they want their friends to come out. They want their generation to come out. And those are the ones. But I believe that's one of the reasons why he does not do a lot of mass deliverances the way we expect and what we've been prophesying over and over and over. He's going to massively sweep through. I'm not saying that won't happen, but I think it's strategic that he does it little by little. That's like him bringing Israel into Canaan and through the wilderness, and how he gave them territory little by little so that they could learn warfare, so that they could be able to manage the territory that they have occupied, so they won't lose ground later, and so that they could teach their children warfare. And so he has a strategy, you know. So sometimes it looks like God is losing. It looks like Yahuwah, the Most High, is losing, when really what he's doing is strategically making sure that in every generation he can represent himself as the Most High God of that generation by bringing in fresh blood, fresh out the gutter, you know. So think about that. And what we need to do as people who have been in the Lord is to continually do what we do from what we know. We can't be immersed in darkness just to try to learn and study darkness just to reach them, because a lot of times they see that's inauthentic anyway. They know you don't come from that. They know you don't relate to that. They know you don't understand it. People who do understand it, he counts it as espionage when they come to Christ. Whether it's coming back to Christ, being backslidden, or whether it's fresh, he'll count all of your life in darkness as espionage. Now expose the secrets of the devil and deliver the captives, set them free. Grace and peace.